Hey Trails Collective, this is Ian here on the weekly rundown of what's been shaken in the regional radius here for April 8th, 2020. Still under the COVID restrictions and distancing. Ellie, who hopefully will be regularly sitting to my right here, did some videos from home, so we'll plug her in here in just a minute. So what's been going on? This past weekend, it was largely a world gone virtual. A bunch of quarantine virtual events happening, some FKTs also in the mix that we'll talk about. So let's get into it. On the virtual event front, Ellie's going to give us a bit of the rundown on TrailsRoc's COVID-19 virtual race. So take it away, Ellie.
Ellie here. I'm going to talk about the races that happened this past weekend. This past weekend, the virtual race scene exploded. So let's talk about number one, the COVID-19 virtual race put on by TrailsRoc, where runners had an option to run 19 miles, 19K, or 1.9 miles, was a huge success. They raised over $17,000 and had 623 participants. Amazing things happened throughout the day, such as a couple runners running all three distances, some tackling vert challenges, and one even ran the 1.9 mile distance backwards. That's crazy. $17,000 for Rochester Running Company, Medved, and Fleet Feet Rochester. That organization is amazing, and I am so proud to be a part of it.
We've mentioned him often here, Eric Eagan of TrailsRoc, one of the core members up there. I think co-created the event that Scott Parr came up with. But Eric did a minute-and-a-half clip just on his experience being out there on his feet after some downtime from surgery and injury and coming back. It's great to see him moving. So I'm going to plug him in this clip coming up of his experience of their COVID-19. So check it out.
A few miles of my COVID-19 this weekend. I got till 8 p.m. but figured let's get it over with early this morning. So I'm at Durand Eastman Park, walking along the ponds. I'm by myself right now. It's pretty beautiful morning, no wind whatsoever. So a few people I wanted to thank though before we finish this thing off. We raised $17,000 in just under 3 weeks from the day that Scott Parr called me, FaceTimed me from the treadmill, saying that he wished he could run with us and wanted to do something for the local running stores that were closed. So thank you, Scott, for that. Thank you to the board at TrailsRoc and especially Sheila for always putting up with my crazy ideas and letting me dream. It's probably not easy to always deal with some of the crazy things that I come up with, but I appreciate it, and I really think it was a benefit to the community this time. And lastly, thank you to the 3 stores who have been home for so many people for so long. Get under that tree. So to Fleet Feet, Medved, and Rochester Running Company, we hope that what we did this week can really help you guys sustain through this and be ready to open your doors for when we're ready to run. I can't wait to get back out there with everybody. It's going to be exciting, and it's going to be a boatload of energy once we're all together again. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate everything you did.
Nice work, Eric. It's a pretty awesome event. And then the person who came up with the idea for them in the community to raise funds for the 3 stores in the Rochester community, Scott Parr, weighed in on some of his reflections, which Ellie will take you through here. And cued in with a couple images of Scott and Ashley just to put a face with the name. Take it, Ellie.
One of the racers from TrailsRoc that did do all 3 distances was my very good friend Scott Parr. Scott has had the most amazing past 2 years of racing, and he just capped it off with a 120-mile race down in Florida. That guy is great. He sent me his race report from this past weekend running the COVID-19 miler, where he actually ran all 3 distances, 19 miles, 19K, and 1.9 miles. He had a little bit of commentary on the race, and I found it so beautiful that I wanted to read it. Here is my recap, he says, or my race report. Today, we live in a world with a lot of uncertainty. We have many questions that we are unable to answer. I can answer this. We all come from many running communities throughout Rochester, but this weekend we all came together as one family. We came together as one local running community to give back to so many that has given to us so much throughout the years, and I am proud to call myself an ambassador for TrailsRoc. I am proud to belong to such a wonderful family. And thankfully, we've actually stolen Scott a little bit, and now he comes out to Ithaca quite often, and we are so glad to have him. And so thank you, Scott, for that wonderful recap, and happy training.
And then literally running with the theme, and literally in my backyard here in Ithaca, Ellie and Amelia joined into the fray. And video that came with it, I plugged in. So Ellie, take it away. Tell us a little bit about your experience this past weekend.
The next race I want to talk about is Amelia and my race, called the Ithaca Backyard Quarantine Ultra. So instead of doing it on a treadmill, we decided a couple days before the event to run it outside. And boy, were we glad we did. Amelia and I had such a wonderful day out there. We ran 10 loops, and that came out to about 41.6 miles. We ended up with 30 pledges, 30 donors, and we raised $1,500. Considering we only fundraised for about a week and it was kind of short notice, I'm really happy with how it turned out. Amelia and I had such a great time, and we had a lot of fun out there.
And so the event that inspired Ellie and Amelia to run with it was the Backyard Quarantine Ultra. Many of you, if you're tuning in here, I'm assuming you take in enough of the media where you already know how it went down. But it was pretty amazing. Over 2,400 athletes from over 55 different countries raising money for various related causes and efforts in their communities. The thing was huge. It was really cool to see a small part of it with Ellie and Amelia, to jump in for a couple loops with a run on my own in the middle. Seemed like a majority of the individuals were throwing down mind-numbing treadmill mile after mind-numbing treadmill mile, but all doing it together for a common cause and common unity. So it was pretty cool to see. There were others outside of the treadmill, like the second place, I guess, loser, or I think third place overall, Anna Carlson. She probably took one of the badass cakes where she actually had to plow out a 4.16 mile loop over a frozen lake in Sweden. And I think power outages and blowing winds and whatever sub-freezing temperatures throughout, it was pretty awesome. Another one was a Russian dude who did 12-second loops around his couch in his apartment for a total of 100K. Dude, that's nuts. I tried to find the video link, but couldn't come up with it. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. And many of you already know the details of how it went down. Coming from within the opening Trails Collective regional radius, which is the Northeast plus the Virginias. Longtime stud, constantly doing wickedly entertaining and amazing efforts, an all-around good guy in my communications with him and what I know of him, Michael Wardian of Arlington, Virginia.
Hey everyone, this is Michael Wardian. My family and I just got home from the Quarantine Backyard Ultra. It's about 1:37 in the morning Eastern time here in the United States. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone out there for being part of this weekend. We started with over 2,500 people, and at the end it was down to me and one incredible athlete. Reddick was pushing me beyond anything I think both of us have ever done in the past. It was a real honor and privilege to be a part of something beyond my imagination, and I was hoping that we could continue our battle well into the morning and try to go for the record. Unfortunately, it didn't end up that way, but I know I'm a better person for it, and I think we all got to enjoy this weekend. I know we're all physically separated at the moment, but this brought us together in a way that I think not many events or chances to be together and to share what we love about the world. So I know I'm kind of rambling right now because I didn't take any breaks because everybody that was involved pushed us all beyond anywhere we've been in the past. But I just wanted to thank everyone, and I'll see you at the next fun thing. All right, bye.
Nice work, man. Constantly incredible. He took it in 63 hours and 262 miles, closing out his last loop with his fastest loop, and I think it was maybe like 7:23 pace. And I think also closed with a depletion mile. It might have been after the event, I'm not clear there, of 5:57. The guy Michael, you never cease to be absolutely incredible. You were up for what, 60, 70 hours, however long it was, and you went to work afterward. That's incredible. So nice work to everybody who participated. Some of you know that it went down with Michael and the second place individual. What was his name? Radek Brunner. Brunner from Czechoslovakia came down to the 62nd loop. And there was some sort of technical glitch on Radek's end. And he wasn't able or didn't get started on his loop until about a minute and 45 into the cycle. The rules had it that everybody has to start right on the start of the hour or the top of the hour. He looked really good in the images. I'll probably post one here of a video. He and Michael looked like they could have kept going quite a bit longer. So he's got to be pretty bummed. Absolute stud on his end. So great job and congrats to you as well. And bummer for the way it went down with the disqualification, but pretty amazing. Let's see. While it would take a whole army and a whole lot of time to try to stalk down all the people that were in it, where they just listed their countries as opposed to city of origin, there were a couple toward the top. One was Matthew Weiner from Glenmore, PA, my native neck of the woods, home turf actually. He put in 42 loops, I think, for over about 170 miles. It's pretty incredible. And Jessica Grinspan of North Wales, PA, hammering out 30 loops for over 125 miles. One of the top females in the mix. Nice showing, PA, representing. That's pretty awesome. If you know somebody that was in the event or had a cool race recap, we'd love to hear it. Reach out to us, let us know. If you did it or participated, film a quick video recap, and we'll see if we can post it next week. massultra.com. If you haven't checked out that site yet, they've got a really good Facebook page and website. Former sports reporter putting together the Mass Ultra site. It's a really well done. Check it out even if you're not in Mass. Let's see what was trending on their site this past week. With one article was titled "With No Races, Marie Makes Masks," and that was from a local ultra athlete, Marie I'll butcher the last name, Grzalka. She had a pretty full calendar stacked for 2020, and being sidelined, she's still putting her efforts to good work in the community, and it's a bit on her sewing masks. There was one study, that said that researchers were urging a halt to events through June 15th. Definitely want to check that out, as I'm still on the fence for Cayuga Trails for May 30th. At the moment, it looks like maybe it's not going to happen. Our volunteers, I think that's just coming a little bit too soon for them to feel comfortable. So we're trying to figure that out right now. They had one on the Mount Toby Ultra being canceled. And then an article on Samantha Lynn LeBlanc, which maybe many of you know. And she was going to do an effort where it was Tonawanda repeats. And I think Ellie heard back from her. And yeah, she's got a clip from it here. So take it, Ellie.
One more fundraiser that I want to talk about that happened this past weekend was done by my friend Samantha LeBlanc. She lives in Massachusetts and frequently runs up, it's called Horn Pond Mountain, and the locals refer to it as Towanda. She decided to raise money for the Woburn Council of Social Concern by running for 8 hours up and down that mountain. And boy, did she. She got 41 miles and over 13,000 feet of gain and raised $1,600. So together we raised over $3,000 this past weekend. Not too bad. In her own words, she says, I only began this fundraiser a week ago. This was a couple weeks ago. But since the COVID-19 outbreak and before any of my races were even canceled, my perspective on running has changed a lot. Running is a privilege that even before this outbreak, a lot of people around the world are not able to have. Being able to train for races, travel for races, and race is a huge privilege. So when I knew races were going to be canceled, she had to remind herself of this. Sam did an amazing job, and if anybody knows Sam, she picks the gnarliest ultras. She got third at the Grindstone 100, which is one of the toughest races in the country. Way to go, Sam, and I'm really glad that we were fundraising together on the same day. Congratulations, and I hope that we're able to race again soon.
In FKT news, Eric Kozek followed up with a second FKT in a matter of a couple weeks here. This round was the new unsupported Loyal Sock Trail in north central PA, covering the distance in 12 hours, 50 minutes, and 30 seconds on March 31st. Nice work, Eric. Pretty impressive. A couple maybe smaller or a little less long ones. Matthew Morgan set a new FKT on the Beach Trail in New York, covering 3.6 miles in 31 minutes. Michael Dolan set an FKT in the Quinnipiac Trail in Connecticut in 8 hours, 51 minutes, and 54 seconds. 38 miles of unsupported social distancing on that effort. Nice work, Michael. James Lischeid set the FKT in the 26-mile Palgasut Trail in Connecticut, 4 hours, 34 minutes, 8 seconds. Ryan Kempson, the Mount tough one, Moosilauke Trail in New Hampshire, 13.9 miles in 3 hours, 5 minutes. And then Samuel Hartman on the Zalosky State Forest in Ohio, a little bit out of our region for the Opening Trails Collective, but nice work. And then MPF, our R&R teammate, Steve Lange, set the FKT for the New Jersey portion of the Appalachian Trail. He hammered out the new FKT in, it was a portion that was 72 miles, 10,502 feet of elevation gain. His time was 13:34, and he took down, I believe, Zach Bitter. Actually, might be confusing my Zachs there. I'll have to look that up afterward. Took down that record. And I believe Steve sent me some solid media clips. I haven't had a chance to check them out yet, but I'm going to post them here in a second if they came through. So hopefully we'll have some here. Check it out, Steve Lange, FKT, New Jersey, AT.
All right, here it is. Look at that. Are we at the state line? Oh, look at that.
Look, it's raining.
Hey, welcome to New York.
0% chance of rain.
Woo!
Yay.
All right, Steve, it is 6:09 for about 15 more seconds. You gonna be good to go?
I'm going to be good to go.
I'm gonna tell you the second. Here, can the camera see the watch?
So do I start right here?
There it is.
6 minute pace.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get out of here, dude.
All right.
Way to go.
Thanks. See you then.
Yep, I'll see you in 10 miles.
That's it? That's all we're doing?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Coming up to the bird watch. We're real close to that record.
Woo! Hell yeah.
Get you with the view there.
Yeah. I'm fucking running. I'm fucking sick of this bullshit.
Yeah.
I love balance. 13, I can't recall. 13:34 or something?
13:34, man. New record.
Hell yeah,
New
dude,
fucking record, man.
By 2 hours.
By 2 hours, son.
Nice work, Steve. Pretty awesome effort. Ellie's going to weigh in here in just a second with the What's Shaking on the regional podcast and YouTube video world. We're trying to stay plugged in and to the ones that we're aware of. If you're aware of one that we're not plugging out there, please let us know so we can check it out and let you know what's shaking and allow you to tune in. For the podcast or videocast creators, let us know in advance so we can give people the heads up to tune in and build a little anticipation for what you've got coming the week ahead. So Ellie, take it away.
This next segment is about the regional podcasts and videos and social media of the week. The Culture Trail and Ultra podcast put out episode 69 called Raising Unawareness, where they talk about how runners really just need to stay the heck away from each other right now. And also, something that I'm looking forward to tuning into is they review Michael Ortiz's living room 100 miler in his New York City apartment. He and that guy from Russia should really get together. The Pain Cave was silent this week, but Running Inside Out put out a podcast with Greg Casto from Rochester Running Company. I'm looking forward to tuning into that because Chris's episodes are really comforting. He and I actually recorded an episode of our podcast, Hamstrings and Heartstrings, but it is not out yet. It should be out this week. And I talk about some pretty good brownies, so you're going to want to tune in. Life is Trail Running just put out a new YouTube video for your inside treadmill runs, or if you're on the bike trainer. They do the English Ridge Rumble Loop, and this time it's just them running around and you get to enjoy the beautiful scenery. I really can't wait until I can do a race out there or just go running with them out there because it looks really, really fun. So check out that video too.
Checking out some of the other message boards that are out there, tuning into TARCS, which is a really active, at least Facebook group. There's a local individual working on a Harvard master's thesis and conducting a study on ultra runners. I'm going to plug the link here, so if so inclined, check it out. It sounds like she could probably use some participants for the study. Also, if you need something to watch, if you got more time at home, being homebound these days, they also plugged, there's a 14-minute short from Joe Stringbean McConaughey as he attempts to break the speed record on the Appalachian Trail. 14-minute short. I'll plug the link. Check it out. So for the week ahead, honestly, I have no idea. It was supposed to be us tuning in on what events, formal events happened last week, what's coming up this week, what trail parties and work groups are happening, maybe guest speakers, group runs, things like that. With the current COVID situation, all of that is out the window. So I don't really know. Life on my end is still, actually it's pretty overwhelming at the moment. There's a lot more on my plate than I can handle. And I'm really just doing my best to keep up day to day. So for those in my world, if I haven't gotten back to you with a certain message, phone, email, thanks for your patience. I'm trying to keep up. It's definitely unsustainable, and I'm just hanging in there. So it being day to day, honestly, I have no idea really what's coming a week ahead in the running world. I'll try to check it out in this week ahead. We'll get back to you. One thing that we are working on and still inching closer is to really roll out the trailscollective.com and the more fuller website. We're spinning last minute to get the e-commerce portion live to roll out, but we're really hoping to really plug as we go, build into more gear reviews, guest articles, videos, editorials, whatever it might be. We really want to hear from you. We'll have message boards, as well as an event calendar which you can search through, and I'm really hoping it's going to be a pretty comprehensive site. So stay tuned, check out the trailscollective.com, sign up for updates, and we'll let you know when it's live. In each of these weeks, we'd love to also plug some media from somebody from the Trails Collective community. So if you're so inspired, give us a video, and we'd love to plug it. We'd love to hear from you. This week I'm going to turn to a friend and local ultra runner, Pete Kresak. He's going to give you a little bit of rundown on him plugging into several of the virtual events this past week. So I'm going to close it out with Pete. Thanks for joining us this week. We'll be back next week. TrailsCollective.com, weekly rundown. We'll talk to you soon. Pete, take us out, buddy.
Hi, my name is Pete Kresak. I'm a trail runner from Ithaca, New York, and I'm here to talk about a couple of the virtual races that went on this past weekend that I participated in. You know, with the global pandemic in full effect here, a lot of established races and race organizations are going virtual in order to allow runners to connect with one another online, if not in person. On Saturday, I participated in iRunFar's global virtual race called Operation Inspiration. And what that is an organized run worldwide where participants register and commit to running for a minimum of 1 hour anytime and any place they want to throughout the day on Saturday. And half of those proceeds go to support I Run Far along with their media coverage, and the other half goes to support the World Health Organization's COVID-19 Solidarity Relief Fund. On Sunday, I ran in the virtual COVID-19 19-miler, which is a benefit run presented by the TrailsRoc Running Club out of Rochester. The proceeds for that are split up between all of the local running shops in the Rochester area, which includes Rochester Running Company, Fleet Feet Rochester, and Medved Running and Walking Outfitters. These three shops, they support local runners and sponsor races, and I know they're a big part of the Rochester running community. So why did I choose to run to support the Rochester area stores while living in Ithaca? Well, over the past couple of years, I've met a lot of great like-minded trail runners from the Rochester area by me going up there to run their races, them coming down to Ithaca to run trail races down here, and I've really connected with a lot of people from Rochester through the sport. I know how much these local running specialty shops mean to the Rochester community in terms of sponsoring races, sponsoring runners, providing group runs, and fitting people for shoes. So I just wanted to show my support for these stores that have sponsored races that I've run. And I know it means a lot to them, just like Finger Lakes Running Company means a lot to me down here in Ithaca. So the virtual 19-miler, that's essentially, you're able to split up the mileage between 3 days or do it all at once. If 19 miles is too much, you could do 1.9 miles or 19K. You could run, walk, hike, do whatever you want. I chose to run the 19 miles all continuously, and then I went around yesterday afternoon to visit all of the most scenic spots around the Cornell campus and the Cornell plantations and natural lands. So I got a good run in. It was for a good cause, and I'm hoping to see more of these types of runs pop up elsewhere, around the Northeast, around the country, and hopefully even right here in Ithaca.